We are the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Apple introduces the Pride Edition braided solo loop customizable watch faces and wallpapers supporting LGBTQ+ communities and advocacy organizations.
President Biden's administration confirmed its 200th federal judge, focusing on diversity with significant LGBTQ+ representation.
CDC reports a 12% drop in HIV infections among men from 2018 to 2022, with the largest decrease in men aged 13 to 24 and black men.
Governor Ron DeSantis declares Freedom Summer, illuminating bridges in red, white, and blue, ending rainbow lights for Pride Month.
The Stonewall, New York experience will be launched on June 1st. It offers an immersive time travel experience to the 1969 Stonewall riots.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in the LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a non-profit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the issues of our queer culture, the Black community, Latino, lesbians, and queer women, trans, student youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
So let's begin by meeting tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Dr. Bobby Huen. He's a certified civil and family mediator and a founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. See his hat? From Hong Kong, and having grown up across the world, he can offer a queer global perspective on current events. Welcome back, Bobby. How you doing, Bobby?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you for having me, Faye. It's a long time no see, actually.
I know. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, right? That's what happens when I come in on my day off. Last time I do that. I love you, Bobby. I'm just messing with you. Next up, let's welcome anchor Buddy Frey, a longtime South Florida resident. He supports many of our local nonprofit organizations like Julian's Fountain of Youth and the Stonewall National Library Museum. How you doing, baby?
I'm fine, sweetheart. How are you today?
Good. I'm going to be at the Wilton Collective tomorrow shopping my face off, just to let you know. Because they're having like a blowout, like $1 dress sale or 50% off everything in the store. I am buying everything tomorrow, just to let you know.
And the Julian appreciates that, and they need the money, so open up your wallet.
So good to see you, buddy. I always
Nice
enjoy
to see
seeing
too,
you.
sweetheart.
Next up, we're welcoming a newbie to the table, and I'm super excited to have you meet Matthew Wisnoski. He is a passionate and dedicated educator who seeks to transform the lives of high school students through critical thinking, dialogue, and building relationships. I love that. Matthew, Master Chorale of South Florida, is performing in Fort Lauderdale with Considering Matthew Shepard on May 31st. Tell me what's happening.
Right, it's a musical tribute to the life of Matthew Shepard, the young gay teen who was murdered in 1998. And it's actually our concert with a cause. So we're partnering with Sunserve of South Florida, which obviously spends a lot of time and initiative working with LGBTQ youth. So we're really excited to be able to present that here, actually at Sunshine Cathedral.
It's going to be fantastic. Where can we get our tickets to that?
So you can get it online directly at MasterCarl's website. They're $40 each, and that is because that extra percentage is going to SunServe.
Honey, but please, $40 for an outing? That is cheap, okay?
True.
For South
In
Florida.
South Florida, for
okay?
sure.
And again, and it goes to SunServe, which is like they're the leading organization when it comes to LGBTQ plus youth and seniors and everyone in between.
Exactly.
So I love this. Thank you so much for letting us know about it. Get your tickets today. And let's welcome Gregg Shapiro. That's Gregg with 2 G's. He writes books. He's an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. He's an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of print and online publications. Welcome back, Gregg. How are you, baby?
I'm good. I just could not be happier to be here if I tried.
I can tell by your face.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events hostess, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat Show on Mondays. Fay, the Arts Center's LGBTQIA+ Pride celebration, returns with Community Dance on June 9th. You are hosting this event. Tell me what's happening.
So like you said, the Arts Center's LGBTQIA+ Pride celebration runs for its 7th year, presented directly on the Ziff Ballet Opera House stage. Community Dance is a free rainbow-filled blowout, and this year it's starring the one, the only Alex Newell. You know this Tony Award-winning, Grammy Award-nominated singer, songwriter, actor, and activist. They were one of my favorites on Glee, and I know one of yours also. There will also be a glowing with Pride dance party featuring DJ Music Cat. Arrive early and explore the Pride Marketplace featuring South Florida's vibrant LGBTQIA+ community and allies. Indulge in happy hour food and drinks. I've been to this event for the last 4 years, and this year I was asked to host the event, and I am beyond excited. Capacity is limited, so get your free tickets today at artscenter.org/tickets. So we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ+ community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, May 23rd, 2024. First this evening, let's begin by queering up business. Apple launches Customizable Pride Edition watch and features championing LGBTQ+ equality. Today, more than 300 million American Apple users have or will receive an update for devices that celebrate June Pride. The update from Apple has introduced a new Apple Watch Pride Edition braided solo loop. It is available in a software update along with matching watch faces and dynamic iOS and iPadOS wallpapers. For the first time, these features can be customized to showcase a spectrum of colors, representing the vibrancy and diversity of LGBTQ+ communities. The new Pride Edition braided solo loop features a vibrant fluorescent design inspired by multiple Pride flags and includes a laser-etched lug reading Pride 2024. The black and brown colors symbolize Black, Hispanic, and Latin communities, and those impacted by HIV/AIDS, while the pink, light blue, and white hues represent transgender and non-binary individuals. The new Pride Radiance watch face and wallpapers bring bold symbolic colors to Apple devices, signaling hope, strength, and fellowship. Apple also continues to support LGBTQ+ advocacy organizations, including ILGA World and the Human Rights Campaign. Additional organizations supported include Encircle, Equality North Carolina, Equality Texas, GLESSON, Equality Federation, the National Center for Transgender Equality, PFLAG, SMYAL, and the Trevor Project. The new Pride Radiance watch face and iPhone and iPad wallpaper are available with watches 10.5, iOS 17.5, and iPadOS 17.5. Apple once again shows what it means to be an unapologetic ally to the LGBTQ+ community. This is the largest LGBTQ+ Pride embracement in history. You know, June Pride Month is just a couple days away at this point, you know, and you know that at this table we start screaming about rainbow capitalism and how everybody's using us, right, to make money during June. But I've got to tell you that, like, you know, when it comes to little things like this, like Bobby just helped me update my phone, right? And so to see the Pride colors on my phone, something that I didn't have to do myself, right? Or even going to Google and like typing in Pride and then all the Pride rainbow colors come out. It makes me feel seen. It gives me goosebumps. It makes me happy.
Aren't you glad you joined the Apple cult now?
No. That's another story, Gregory, with 2 G's.
For some technical assistance, if you need technical assistance, instance, go to the settings, tap on your iPhone iOS device, tap wallpaper, and then you can just click add new wallpaper, and under the variety of wallpaper, you will see a specific category called Pride.
Oh, cool.
And there you'll find different shades of the Pride
represented. LGBTQ plus flags. Like, how cool is that?
Exactly. So for example, I have it installed like traditional rainbow.
Pretty groovy.
That is pretty. Did you just say groovy, Greg?
I did.
Sure did.
Oh, wow.
I think we
But what's
traveled.
important about this story is that it's not about just being here for June. Apple has been there for years and years and years, and we need to celebrate that fact.
Yeah.
I mean, look who the CEO is.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
I was going to say,
A lot of their top tier people are openly LGBTQ plus.
Yep.
So
and they have always gotten great ratings for LGBTQ plus employees over at Apple.
So this is one time where I don't think that necessarily this is just gay, capitalism.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of the community. I think this is celebrating.
What do you think, Matthew?
Yeah, I mean, especially for our young people who, I mean, most of their lives are on their phones. I mean, it's a really great way and a really tangible way for them to see a sense of visibility.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so go Apple, and way to go, kicking it off early, right? That's also very smart. You CEO, you know what you're doing. You're like, I'm going to start that shit 10 days before Pride, all right? We're going to be the first ones to be the biggest allies. What, Samsung? What? Where are you at?
What do you think? What do you think? It's bulletproof. It's a bulletproof initiative because what are the Moms for Liberty people going to do? Smash their own phones?
No, all 5 of them are very mad about this. All 5 of them are mad. What's next, buddy?
Next, let's queer up the USA view. This is the most important thing Joe Biden has done for the LGBTQ plus community. You must know about this. President Joe Biden marked a significant achievement on Wednesday as his administration confirmed its 200th federal judge, surpassing the records of his predecessors. Biden's focus on diversifying the judiciary has been notable, with nearly a dozen LGBTQ plus judges among his appointees. Magistrate Judge Angela Martinez, a former assistant U.S. attorney, received Senate approval with a 66-28 vote to become a federal judge in the District of Arizona. This confirmation came on the heels of Krista Lanham's appointment to the same court, both nominated in March by Senator Christian Sinema, an out bisexual lawmaker. Biden highlighted the diversity of his judicial appointees, noting that 64% are women and 62% are people of color. He emphasized their qualifications and varied backgrounds, representing a wide spectrum of legal experience. Speaking about the influence these judges wield, Biden highlighted their role in deciding fundamental rights, including reproductive health care, voting rights, workers' rights, and environmental protections. This milestone reflects Biden's commitment to the judiciary that mirrors the nation's diversity and upholds the democratic principles of independence, freedom, and liberty. In a recent interview, White House senior counsel Phil Brest noted that among the 200 confirmed judges, 11 openly identified as LGBTQ+, matching the number appointed during former President Barack Obama's 8 years in office. He also highlighted that Beth Robinson, appointed by the Biden administration, is the first lesbian federal appeals court judge, and Charlotte Sweeney is the first LGBTQ+ woman appointed west of the Mississippi. Many LGBTQ+ people do not understand the significance of this news. Federal judge appointments are the key civil rights deciders of the future. The Trump overturn of Roe is an example in his appointments to Supreme Court. But even more important are lifetime appointments to the federal bench. They prevent implementation of laws like Florida's no drag or states' anti-LGBTQ+ legislation. These courts rule on constitutional issues that are evaluated on state laws implemented. This record of diversity federal judge appointments will dramatically affect the LGBTQ+ community for decades to come. And it's about time we start getting smart about the politics of state and local appointees. And we need to remind ourselves that 11 judges is a significant situation, especially in states like Arizona. You have 2.
Yeah.
Arizona is struggling right now with whatever identity that they're going to have. So this is a very important story that we need to, I don't know how we're going to bring it up in conversation, because it's not an easy conversation to have. It's not easy to sit there in a bar and say, hey, did you hear about... But it's important that we recognize it and we acknowledge it, and at the same time we celebrate it and spread the reality of it and the truth of it with no misinformation, no disinformation. And we realize that this is an important step for not just today, but also for 10, 15, 20 years.
For the future,
down the line,
for our future.
you know?
Bobby?
Yeah. If there's an example of how important this is, consider the federal judge in the Northern District of Texas. There's one judge, and every conservative is running to him and filing lawsuits because he's a Christian nationalist unabashedly, and he has made rulings such as banning abortions entirely. He is the judge who says that abortion birth control should be banned, and I mean his rulings are likely going to be overturned down the road, but we are going to talk about years and years of arguments before we get to the Supreme Court, where the 6-3 majority is going to try to uphold his ruling.
Right.
Yeah.
But district court judges are just as important as appeals court and just as important as ultimately who end up sitting on the Supreme Court bench.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Biden moves swiftly and continues these diverse appointments. 64% are women and 62% are people of color. That's pretty amazing.
That's significant.
And especially as the November 2024 election is looming large. So step on it.
Right? Step on it. But also, everyone, light a candle if you believe in that kind of stuff, right? Because Biden is doing what he needs to do, right? Very, I don't want to give him love about this, but very Trump-like, right? He appointed all the shit that we're seeing right now, and all the effects are from the appointees of Trump, So this would help our future, like Buddy said. And it also, it has to maybe inspire some people at a lower level to also run for office, We don't see ourselves in Congress. We don't see black, brown women. We don't see, we don't see trans. We don't see ourselves. Representation matters. So the fact that screen full of these judges were appointed and they were all black and brown and gay made me a happy girl.
But we need to discuss this because, like Gregg just said, with the election coming up, there's a lack of information on the details of what exactly the Biden administration is doing and how they're looking towards the future rather than just 10 minutes from now.
Apparently, a lot of people are very uninformed about the state. For example, I think New York Times, or is it Axios, I don't remember, one of the outlets just pointed out that most Americans think that we're in a recession when we're not.
Right.
And a significant portion of that blame Biden, which he shouldn't be blamed because that should not be true.
Exactly.
So, we are looking at a major misinformation machine that's churning in the social media space, churning on cable TV, Fox News, and
entertainment channel.
And all these outlets that are deliberately distorting the truth so that Americans don't see it or feel discouraged by what they see.
But we do tell the younger people because we want them to vote and we want them to have the impetus to go, we have a future now.
Yeah.
So,
well, this might give them hope. And a lot of the, Gen Zers and millennials, don't believe in Biden and think that he hasn't done anything for us and thinks that our generation has messed up the world. And that's not true. That is for them to check that misinformation and get their information from correct sources,
Yes, that's very true.
What's next, Bobby?
Oh, okay. So next, let's queer up health. Significant drop in HIV infections among men aged 13 to 24, revealed in latest CDC report. According to newest data from the CDC's HIV surveillance supplemental report, HIV infections among men dropped an estimated 12% from 2018 to 2022, with the largest decrease among men aged 13 to 24. Among men aged 25 to 64, there was no change. The 25 to 34 age group accounted entirely for the overall decrease. Data on men over 65 was considered unreliable, though the study noted that infections in this group seems to be low. Black men experienced the largest decrease in HIV infections with an 18% drop, yet they still had the largest number of infections overall in 2022. Regionally, the South saw a 16% decrease, while other areas had no change. The most significant reduction from 2018 to 2022 was among men aged 13 to 24, with a 30% decrease in HIV infections. In the recent CDC report, it was discovered that over 80% of individuals diagnosed with HIV accessed care within a month of diagnosis. Additionally, 65% achieved viral suppression in 2022, potentially explaining the observed change. A 2023 CDC study revealed a 12% drop in HIV cases among young people from 2017 to 2021, mainly affecting gay and bisexual men aged 13 to 24. The HIV and Hepatitis Policy Institute highlighted the decline as positive, but emphasized persistently high rates, casting doubt on U.S.'s ability to achieve CDC's 90% HIV transmission reduction goal by 2030. First, I think we should acknowledge those from the activists from the 80s and 90s who screamed and yelled and protested for HIV research to even just
when Reagan wouldn't even say the word.
Exactly.
Okay.
When Reagan wouldn't even say the word HIV and AIDS, and then thanks to projects like Ryan White, thanks to projects like ACT UP, and thanks to and then also, of course, these donations and activism also lead to scientific advances, which is not why we now have post-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, or and every LGBTQ plus health organization is now giving out PrEP programs. Yes, and all these are cumulatively causing this this generation of young people to have a decrease in infection rates. And I think that's really, really awesome.
Yeah, well, I have to say that I've been a part of Smart Ride for a couple of years, right? I love Glenn Weinzimmer and his whole platform on HIV/AIDS, and people hope that we can eradicate this by 2030, by 2040, right? And PrEP, a lot of my gay boys use that, and don't give a shit, and don't even care if someone has something or not, right? That's like their get out of jail free card, So these stats make me, give me hope for the future. South Florida is not number one in anything, but it's number one in Black and brown women having and contracting and being diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. So if this number has gone down with our Black and brown brothers, then that makes me happy. Unfortunately, also the time of this study is during COVID, also. So I don't see how realistic this study is because a lot of people were being safe. A lot of people were not, right. Bobby. Okay, a lot of people were doing with their masks on.
Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?
But it gives me hope, right? It gives me hope. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, going back to previous generations, I think it's really helpful for them to see now current data of young people that it's going down. Yeah. Or what was it, 2 years ago, where we saw that in the heterosexual community that they had higher rates of HIV for the first time at record highs. And it also just raises more awareness and education to the conversation, especially with women and women of color, where it's less about sexual transmission and more about access to medical care.
Right. Yeah. Right? Resources.
Absolutely.
Well, actually, I know on the show about a week or so ago, we talked about how some of my fellow geezers incorrectly assumed they were immune to STIs. They are, of course, wrong.
Why would they be immune?
Well, I don't know.
For being old?
Yeah, they just thought that
over
a certain number, they thought they were safe. Yeah. And I was like, wrong. Yeah. However, this study does give me hope that young people, you youngins out there who are leading the decrease in HIV infections, will be smarter than some of the fogies out there. So keep up the good work.
Actually, fun fact about the elderly and STI. Do you know that the Villages, the notorious conservative,
all straight people,
exactly,
and all straight people putting loofahs on their golf carts. That's what it is. Wash those loofahs, people. Matthew, what's next, my lord?
All right, next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Freedom Summer to light Florida's bridges in red, white, and blue, blocking Pride Month rainbows. Governor Ron DeSantis has declared the next 4 months as Freedom Summer. In Florida, as part of this initiative, iconic Florida bridges will be illuminated in red, white, and blue from Memorial Day to Labor Day. In previous years, structures like the Sunshine Skyway and Ringling Causeway celebrated Pride Month with rainbow lighting for a week, but this June, they will not. DeSantis announced the Freedom Summer Initiative in late April, offering free access to Florida state parks on Memorial Day and a tax-free discount on recreational equipment throughout the summer. DeSantis stated, Florida is stepping up to make summer more affordable for families. But Florida Department of Transportation Secretary Jared Perdue sharing the bridge lighting plans on social media, praising DeSantis' leadership. However, the decision has faced backlash from LGBTQ+ advocates. Carlos Guillermo-Smith, Equality Florida's senior policy advisor, criticized the move, saying that the bridge lights represent a celebration of diversity and inclusion. He added, LGBTQ+ Floridians will proudly raise our flags even higher, and our lights will only shine brighter in the darkness that they've created.
So what do you think, Bebe?
I mean, it's kind of crazy. Just thinking that in a sunshine state, lights are really the thing that get us today, honestly.
Listen, there's no secret that Ron DeSantis doesn't want any of us living and breathing and living in his state, so-called, right? But just like Carlos Guillermo-Smith, who we love here at Queer News Tonight, we will shine brighter than those freaking bridges, right? We will raise our flags higher, and that will be it, But it's just hysterical how freaking DeSantis is like, oh, we want to make it affordable for families. Well, you know what? My homeowner's insurance just went up twice, right? My car insurance now is up to what I used to pay in New York, right? Global warming is a thing, right? I mean, I can go on and on. That's how you make things affordable for families in Florida, by commandeering some ways to eradicate those issues that we are going through, not by letting me get a discount off a raft. Or a canoe at Lolita State, when nobody in South Florida would ever go out in 95-degree weather. We don't go into the pool during those times.
Right.
We just don't.
Exactly.
And we are families. We have families. So using the word families like a weapon is ridiculous. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. Emasculated eunuch governor Ron death sentence plans to make our lives a living hell for the remainder of his time in office. And in opposition, we must fly our flags higher and longer.
One last thing, and I'll let Bobby also do one last thing. It's sad that during 9/11, right? After 9/11, we were all so proud of being Americans. We wore American flags, like a shirt that somebody would give you with an American flag. You would never wear that shit. But after 9/11, all of a sudden you wore it proud. Right. You had little hats with the pride, with the flag on it, right? And now here we are all these years later, and that flag doesn't belong to us anymore. We're freaking Americans. That flag is mine also. But when I see it, I have PTSD, and I automatically think of Trump or one of my black or brown trans sisters being killed, or, some police violence against my gay boys, right? That is what I think of when I see an American flag, and that's messed up that they've done that to me. I was freaking born here. I'm an American.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was going to say. It is erasure via patriotism disguised as propaganda.
But wait a minute. One of the whole story is about the changing of the colors that have been gone for a decade or more. The comment about making Florida affordable and families has nothing to do with the lights. The lights don't cost anything. It's just gels on a light that's already lit. So, if we're going to make a statement, we have to do it where it hurts. And in the state of Florida, it's on taxes, it's on how much we spend, how much we make, and where the value of our dollar goes. So I encourage all the different LGBTQ plus political organizations to remind the governor how much money is created by the LGBTQ plus community, how much money the tourist gay dollar represents, how much money the groups that come into the state for their yearly fun vacations, gay days at Orlando. That's where we have to educate the governor, because he's feeding his base, saying, oh, well, we're not going to do gay colors on the bridges, and this is about family making life cheaper in Florida.
But we'll let you into the parks for free. That's going to make my life easier. One
has nothing to do with the other. So we need to go bring it back to the reality of, if you want to erase the pride colors during Pride Month, let me remind you how many billions of dollars that represents.
Right.
And we'll see. That's the only way to get a hold of a politician, is by reminding him about our spending value.
Money. Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. The Stonewall New York experience is coming to Fort Lauderdale in June 2024. The first Stonewall New York experience is launching at Stonewall National Museum and Library in Fort Lauderdale on June 1st, 2024. This immersive Stonewall in Stonewall exhibit kicks off Pride Month with a time travel experience to June 28, 1969, just hours before the historic Stonewall riots that ignited the global LGBTQ+ human rights movement. Visitors will be transported to the gritty, historic Stonewall Inn in New York City. The museum will feature a smoky bar setting, 1969 hits like Aquarius, Let the Sunshine In, playing from a jukebox, and a virtual bartender in drag discussing life on Christopher Street. Guests can shoot pool while listening to a virtual bar patron vent about the LGBTQ+ community's struggles in 1969 and the sanctuary provided by bars such as the Stonewall Inn. Interactive elements include photo ops with a Stonewall New York neon sign and naming opportunities, where visitors can have their names or loved ones' names displayed in the exhibit. The experience runs from June 1st to September 2nd, 2024, and will become a traveling exhibition in the fall of 2024, aiming to visit all 50 states over the next decade. So, if you can't visit Fort Lauderdale, visit stonewall-museum.org to find out when the exhibition is visiting your nearby city. Well, June 1st, so I can't think of a better way to spend the day before my birthday than attending the opening of the Stonewall in Stonewall exhibit at the Stonewall National Museum and Archives in Fort Lauderdale. I have a feeling this is going to be one of the most innovative and unforgettable experiences ever on exhibit at the Stonewall. I really feel that way.
You know, that's when our gay rights movement began, right? Was after the Stonewall riots. That's when we started Stonewall Pride, right? A few years later. And, you know, I don't know about me. I wasn't born during that time, right? I use Botox, but it doesn't work that well, right? And so I've got, you know, we celebrate the Stonewall Inn many times from this table. So I've had FOMO from like not being there in 1969, right? So this will be so cool that Robert Keston, who is just an incredible soul, right? Like I remember meeting him for the first time and just going, "You are weird," and him going to me, "You are weird too. All right, we're friends forever," right? And he said he made it a point that he was going to bring this to all 50 states, and I even said to him, "Even Texas?" Like, he's like, even Texas, Faye, you know, and more importantly, even Texas, you know, and that is the kind of guy that he is. So I can't wait for them to bring this here and for it to be just a cool, like immersive experience, right? And to, you know, throw a brick or throw a shot glass or dress like Sylvia or something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got to figure out, because give a girl a theme and I'm all about it.
But this is important. I've been working off and on with the Stonewall since 2005. And in 2005, the Stonewall brought into Fort Lauderdale a traveling exhibition from the National Holocaust Museum out of Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
Homosexual persecution from 1934 to 1943 or something. And it was pointed out that the focus was to explain that all of the myths about the gay community began with the Nazi PR machines and how people have absorbed those myths and used it against the community all these years later, from all walks of life, whether it be religious or political. Now, this is important in my perspective because not only does this give us a chance to discuss pride, but it also reminds us that we have a history that we don't discuss enough. And it also points out the importance of organizations like the Stonewall or One or any of these national museums that collect and celebrate our history, regardless of the grittiness. I mean, it's the span of every gay author to the history of porn.
Yeah.
I mean, that is our life, and it's important that we celebrate this. And one of the frustrating things I have down here is I don't think the local community, let alone the community at large, necessarily knows that the Stonewall is there. So I'm excited as all hell that the Stonewall is doing this great big event, because like in 2005, we had 5,000 people go through the exhibition in 3 weeks, and we expected 1,000.
Wow, incredible.
So it's very important that I think it's a great opportunity for the Stonewall to have a massive or a huge outreach, but I'm even more excited about the fact that they're going to go to all 50 states and introduce not only the history to generations that may or may not know the reality of the Stonewall, but also the fact that they're introducing the Stonewall to the world, and we are the National Museum. It's self-proclaimed, but we are the largest museum of its
And you're here in South Florida, and most people don't even know that it's here, like you said.
So I think that's what's important for me, is the whole introduction to the even the gay community that exists down here. We need to go to there and celebrate it, and we need to support the organization.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
I expect to see everybody there June 1st, but it will be running there all month long, right?
Yes.
All the way till September.
All right. That's going to be awesome.
Fantastic.
In 2025, LGBTQ+ people from across the globe globe will come to the U.S. as World Pride is celebrated in Washington, D.C. As part of Happening Out's nonprofit travel club, you can join the celebration for as low as $359 for a 5-day experience. Find out more at happeningout.travel/worldpride. Tonight's broadcast is presented by viewers like you and the generous support by Visit Lauderdale. Everyone under the sun.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from a permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience, watching this live LGBTQ+ news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, and on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dr. Bobby Huen, Buddy Frey, Matthew Wisnoski, and Gregg Shapiro with his beautiful Stonewall in shirt. Yes! We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you good night.
Good night.